Open three is good.
Shot pours to go. Oh, Schwitzer.
Nice.
Tough. Shooting and score.
Welcome to Sports Jam on CCX Sports. I'm John Jacobson.
I'm Jay Wilcox. Today on the show, a top 10 matchup in girls hockey. Plus, we'll meet a very talented wrestler and football player from Totino-Grace in our Sports Jam Spotlight.
We'll get started with boys basketball. Last winter, Wayzata broke a 25-year losing streak against Hopkins. The Trojans are off to a great start this season, and they look to knock off the Royals Friday night. Second half of this game, and Hopkins down. Blaze Beauchamp trying to help the Royals keep it close, hitting a three there. He scores a dozen points in the game. Wayzata can match most teams on the long-distance threes. Drew Gallatin dialing up a corner three there, and the Trojans are up by 20. And it's Jacob Benninga running the floor and hits the trailing Gavin Baumgartner for three more. Four players in all score at least 14 points in the game for Wayzata. Ryan Lindbergh drives to the baseline, pulls up and hits the short jumper. Lindbergh tops Wayzata with 20 points. A few minutes later, a couple of quick passes for the Trojans. And it ends up in the hands of Lindbergh again, this time hitting a three. Wayzata's lead grows to 28 points. Baumgartner open at the top of the key for another three. Wayzata wins big 81-55. A huge win for Wayzata against a team they had never beaten before in this gym.
Well, I think it was just awesome. We haven't beat them at home. Last year we beat them at their place. And it's just really cool. We lost by one, and now we go and get them at our place by a bunch. So it was a fun win by our team. Everybody played great. It was a lot of fun.
Hopkins was the site for a big day of basketball on Saturday, and the Royals suffered their second loss in a row Saturday night as number 2 Maple Grove beat them 81-70 behind 41 points from Brad Davison. Brooklyn Center lost a close one to a good Grand Rapids team 69-64. In the girls' games, Hopkins continues to roll, flattening Chanhassen 80-47. Paige Becker's at 18 for the Royals. Armstrong crushed Washburn 64-27, with Carly Kerschel scoring 19 for the Falcons. Osseo edged Bloomington Kennedy 65-64 for their third win of the season. And Park Center beat Woodbury 58-53, and Simonette had 17 for the Pirates.
In girls basketball, the Hopkins girls, as Jay mentioned, continue to roll. Wayzata's girls were looking for an upset on the road against the top-ranked Royals. Highlights from this one, Hopkins in blue working the ball around the perimeter. Paige Becker's open for a three. She leads all scores with 19 points. Wayzata's Cameron Hay in the corner spies Callie Tyson coming down the line, laying the lane, and the sophomore hits the turnaround. She has 17 in the game. Hopkins, though, tough to defend. They're able to score a lot of points in transition. Raina Suggs with 2 here. Becker's on the pass to Kayla Adams, who gives it up as she's falling down to Hannah Kleiss. She buries a three. It's an 11-point Hopkins lead. Dee Dee Winston grabs a defensive rebound, and she'll outlet to Layla Shakolas. It's the pull-up jumper from 14 feet. Shakolas scores 18 points. Sydney Franks looking to keep Wayzata in the game. Drills a three. She scores 11 points for the Trojans, but it's not enough. Winston driving from the wing, hits the contested jumper in the lane. Hopkins wins 83-55. The teams play again February 16th at Wayzata. Back to boys, where there are some very strong teams in both divisions of the Northwest Suburban Conference, including top-ranked Champlin Park on the road last week at Osseo. Brian Smith ahead to McKinley Wright for 2 of his game-high 28 points. Rebels in transition again. It's Smith lobbing it up for big Theo John for the dunk as Champlin Park begins to pull away. Off a missed Orioles shot, John rebounds, and he'll go down court to an open right. Rebels lead at 53-40. Osseo's Zach Tyson drives from the wing to score a nice up and under move. And that's 2 of his game-high 23 points. But it's not enough to keep up with Champlin Park on this night. Benedetto to Smith. Back to John for another dunk. The Rebels pulling away from the Orioles. And then Smith starts to hit corner threes to seal this game up. He scores 18 points. Champlin Park led by as many as 30. The Rebels win it 81-64.
Same schools meeting in girls basketball at Champlain Park. Erica Hicks has been the Rebels' top scorer this season, and her three will get a nice bounce off the rim, and it gets down for an early 2-point lead for the Rebels. But solid defense ignites a good start for the Orioles. Mina Port with the steal, and she passes ahead to Michaela Hamola for the layup. The Orioles lead by as many as 6. Champlain Park rallies, though. Allison Garrett's drives and dumps the pass to Michaela Johnson for 2 inside. She scores 12 first-half points. Hicks passes to Gabby Maki, who finds Johnson for 2 more. Champlain Park holds the lead the rest of the night. Champlain Park wins 58-43 for the Rebels' 7th straight win. Back to boys basketball. Park Center and Totino-Grace have been ranked in the top 10 this year. The Eagles in Class 3A and the Pirates in 4A. They met in a Northwest Suburban West Division battle. Grace in transition. Zachary Bond to Nathan Kovalak, and he nails a 3 for a 19-14 lead. Derek Ogechi answers with a baseline 3 for the Pirates, and they take a 25-22 lead. Quick passing by the Eagles, and Rocky Cruiser scores off the glass here. Tommy Chapman is wide open at the top of the key, and he fires a 3-pointer for Park Center. They lead 42-36 at halftime. Early second half, and Park Center gets the steal. Jarius Cook to Emmanuel Tamba for the hoop, plus a foul here. And Losini Kamara delivers a nice pass to Cook for the easy basket, and the Pirates lead by 11. Park Center wins this one 86-70.
We're closing in on an important end of the season meets in Nordic skiing. Some of the area's top teams were in action on the weekend. At the big Mesabi East Invitational at Giants Ridge, site of the state meet, the Wayzata boys edged Stillwater for the top spot by 11 points. Morris third and Champlain Park fourth. Luke Goleen of Wayzata wins the classical race. Stillwater takes the top spot on the girls' meet. Mesabi East and Company takes second, followed by Forest Lake and Duluth East. Wayzata is 7th and Champlain Park 12th. At the ABC relays at Worth Park, the top Armstrong team wins the boys' race ahead of Minnetonka, Coon Rapids, and Stillwater. On the girls' side, Henry Sibley finishes number 1 with top-ranked Armstrong having teams in 2nd and 3rd place. The Anderson sisters from Armstrong win the 2 races.
Hard to believe, but we are heading down toward the end of the regular season.
We'll get those conference races and section meets coming up pretty quickly. Next up, an overtime battle between 2 strong girls hockey teams, plus wrestling and boys swimming highlights when Sports Jam continues. Maple Grove beat Hill Murray in the semifinal of the state Class AA girls hockey tournament last year.
The 2 top 10 teams faced off in a great matchup on the Pioneers' home ice. Hill Murray strikes early in the first period when Abigail Barine pops in the rebound for a 1-0 lead. And that's how it stays until late in the 3rd period when Maple Grove's Tina Campa makes an end-to-end rush. Her shot is stopped, but Aaron Roll bangs in the rebound to level the score at 1. So we go to overtime, and Hill Murray wins at 23 seconds into OT on the shot and goal by Lindsay Featherstone. Maple Grove loses for just the 3rd time this season. 2-1 is the final.
Now to boys hockey, where Armstrong Cooper is taking aim at the top spot in the West Division of the Northwest Suburban Conference. Armstrong Cooper youth hockey players out on the ice with the Wings before their game against Osseo. The Orioles strike first. Jack Hauser picks off a pass, shoots and scores. Osseo looking for its 2nd straight win, leads 1-0. Later in the first period, AC on the power play. A.J. Jacobson's shot directed by Edward Kirchhoff to Drew Ide for the goal to 1-1 game. The Wings would score again to lead 2-1 after 1. Tied at 2 in the second. The Orioles go back in front. Ty Hill's shot tipped in by Hauser for his 2nd goal of the night. Armstrong Cooper ties it less than a minute later. The Orange Jensen's point shot tipped in by Eric Evans, and it's 3-3. But Osseo would score again. Zachary Brash point shot pops up and over the head of AC goalie Ethan March and in. And it's Orioles up 4-3 after 2. The Wings score the only 2 goals of the 3rd period. Jacobson scores his 1st goal of the season with a power play marker. Armstrong Cooper rallies to win 5-4. The Wings face Totino-Grace and Spring Lake Park this week.
Wins have been a little hard to come by for the defending state Class AA champion Wayzata boys hockey team this season. The Trojans at home to face Holy Angels. Joel Matthews wins the faceoff back to Michael North, whose shot is stopped, but Ryan Mulrennan is there for the rebound goal. It's 1-0 Trojans in the first. Just a few minutes later, senior Tyler Stevens skates into the Stars zone and flips a backhander up and in for the Trojans' second goal of the night. Tyler Dingman takes advantage of a turnover and sets up Mulrennan for his second goal of the period. Wayzata leads at 3-0 after one. Second period and some good passing by the Trojans on a power play. Jack Carlson sets up Griffin Ness in the slot for goal. That makes it 4-0. Still in the second, Colin Schmidt will pass to Ness, who nets the Trojans' fifth goal. Wayzata wins 5-0. They did lose, though, to Delano on Saturday. Now to wrestling, where Wayzata is having a solid season. The Trojans faced Hopkins in a late conference duel. After two Wayzata forfeit wins and a decision, Hopkins gets on the board as one of their top wrestlers. Jesse Sattler pins Royce Hogue in the 126-pound match. 10th ranked Nate Johnson follows suit for the Royals in the 132-pound match, putting the cradle on Gunnar O'Reilly to get the pin, and Hopkins is within 15-12. Wayzata takes over from there. Parker Carey with a nice switch to get a reversal on the way to a 6-1 win over Clifton Patterson at 138. At 145, Tim Gilseth of Wayzata pins Brandon Yellowrobe midway through the second period. It's 24-12 Trojans. At 170, Wayzata's Dan Herda is ranked number 3, and he pins Gabe Herman. Hopkins can overcome 6 open weights, and Wayzata wins 54-21. We'll hear from the Trojans later in the show. Also in wrestling, Bill Marish in Champlin Park visiting Park Center. After a Champlin Park decision, Park Center gets 2 pins. Moses Norris gets the fall over Fufua Vang at 120 pounds. The Rebels dominate in the middle, though. Jason Shute starts a string of 3 consecutive pins for Champlin Park, putting Sky Fain away in the 132-pound match. At 145, Corey Cairo adds the 3rd straight pin for the Rebels as he beats Tommy Zhang to give Champlin Park a 27-11 advantage. Peyton Nelson puts it out of reach with a pin for Champlin Park in the 195-pound match over Fred Williams. Champlin Park downs Park Center 45-25.
High school boys swimmers are nearing the midway point of their seasons. In the Northwest Suburban Conference, Champlin Park hosted Osseo in a dual meet last week. In the 200-yard medley relay, the Champlin Park team of Ryan Picard, Mark Kronig, Christian Stolman, and anchor Trey Carlson win in a time of 1 minute 51.15 seconds. In the 200-yard freestyle, Mark Kronig back in the pool again. He swims to a first-place finish. His time 1:59.14, more than 7 seconds ahead of runner-up Carlson. 200-yard individual medley. Donovan Durand of Champlin Park touches home first in 2 minutes 20.85 seconds. John Schober of Osseo is second. And in the 50 freestyle race, it's Picard of Champlin Park winning in 23.9 seconds. Stolman is second. Rebels win virtually every event, and they win the meet 91-81. That was a cold night outside. It was a nice night to be in the pool.
Yeah, good win there for Champlin Park, too, as they swam well in that one.
We saw some wrestling a moment ago, and coming up next in our Sports Jam Spotlight, meet a championship contender from Totino-Grace. He is one of the state's top wrestlers at 182 pounds. In this week's Sports Jam Spotlight, we meet Totino-Grace senior Jared Florell, who's looking to win his 2nd state championship this school year. The Totino-Grace wrestling program has a great tradition. The Eagles' Jared Florell will go down as one of the best and will likely finish his 6-year career this winter, 3rd in school history in wins.
It's been great. I just love it here, the support system we have from our coaches and the kids I've been wrestling with for the past 6 years. It's been great, and you can see strides every year, which is something I like, and our coaches know my strengths and they help me improve on my skills, so I like that a lot.
He's just a tremendous leader. He's just kind of, he's always doing the extra. He's always doing the extra outside the season. He works hard in the room. He brings the kids around. Just an excellent leader. He's not afraid of hard work, and nobody's going to work harder than him.
That hard work has paid off for Jared in the form of over 150 career wins. It's not always easy in practice either. On this day, his practice partner is collegiate wrestler and former Grace High School All-American Lance Bennick. Bennick and Jared's brother Isaac, 2 grades older than Jared, helped mold him into an elite wrestler.
Him and Lance, we've all been wrestling with each other since I was about 5. So since I started wrestling, I've been around those guys, and guys like that really help push me and make me a better wrestler and a lot tougher, that's for sure, because there are times in the room where we be competing pretty hard with each other, and that just makes me a better competitor.
Like Bennick, Isaac Florell is also a college wrestler and a good influence on his younger brother, although not necessarily a good training partner.
We weren't allowed to be practice partners actually in the room very often because it turned more physical sometimes and just take away from our wrestling. So a lot of times I'd be going with Lance and he'd be going with like Kez Flomo. But just being in the same room, like pushing each other during workouts and like conditioning, just helped us both become better wrestlers for sure.
Jared and Isaac were part of a great Grace team 2 seasons ago. The brothers each finished as runners-up in their weight classes, while Bennick won his 4th individual state title. Jared finished 4th last season at 170 pounds. On the football field, Jared was a starting linebacker for the state Class 6A champion Eagles. A special year for Totino-Grace football and a great group of seniors.
We were playing together for a long time. A lot of us had significant playing time as sophomores, so we had the chemistry built up, and we were just ready to take it all the way this season. We were really close this year. I felt like that was a big part of our success. By far the closest team I've been on in any sport, and we just had a lot of fun, and we loved doing it. I loved every step of it.
Great football player. Jared did a nice job for us in so many ways. And I would say that Jared was definitely one of the leaders, kind of the spiritual leaders of our team. He's just got some real unique gifts in terms of being able to connect with guys.
Football season went until Thanksgiving weekend, and then it was right into wrestling. A tougher transition than you might think.
Football's got a different type of conditioning. It's just a few hard goes, then you get a break. 10 seconds of hard work, and then you get a break. But wrestling, you got to work a lot on your endurance and stay going for that full 6 minutes or even more. So it's a bit of a transition, but I like doing both of them. So
Jared's success on the wrestling mat earned him a scholarship offer to Purdue University.
I was looking at a few different schools, and I got the chance to go out there and meet with Coach Ersland and his staff, and I just felt like it was a good fit for me right away. It's a great school, a beautiful campus, and their team is going in the right directions, and I just felt really comfortable there, and it felt like it's somewhere I'd want to spend the next 5 years.
Jared possesses tremendous strength, and his determination and always improving technique has made him a tough opponent to beat.
He's strong. He's an aggressive wrestler. He's strong. He's physical. Technique. He's good at leg attacks and on and upper body as well because he's done Greco and freestyle. I don't know if there's not a weak spot in his wrestling. He can kind of wrestle any style he needs to.
While Jared says he will miss playing football, he's excited to continue his wrestling career in college. But first, he's taking aim at a state individual title.
Most definitely. I think it's overdue.
Jared and the Eagles face Park Center on Thursday and wrestle in the St. Croix Falls Invitational in Wisconsin on Saturday. Jay talks more wrestling with the Wayzata Trojans when Sports Jam returns.
Welcome back to Sports Jam. The Wayzata wrestling team having a solid season so far, and they join us after a win over Hopkins. And starting with a couple of their athletes, Bryson, Wilkins, tell me a little bit about this Trojans team so far. How do you like the way things are going so far?
No, we're looking really good. We got a nice, solid veteran lineup, and we're looking to win the Lake Conference and hopefully beat STMA and make it to the state tournament. Obviously,
Right from the start of the season, you have a little bit in the back of your mind that St. Michael's out there as a goal, and obviously you got to see them last year in the section final. But how much does that drive you guys in the room to practice and to know that you might have a team like that on the horizon?
Coach Swensen makes sure we practice really hard with our conditioning, so that way we can last throughout all 6 minutes and maybe even overtimes and stuff.
Obviously, it's an individual sport too, and you're in the rankings at heavyweight. Do you feel pretty good about your opportunities to possibly get there too?
Yeah, I'm looking to hopefully place in the state tournament, so that's my ultimate goal.
All right, thanks for joining us, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Dan Herda coming up with another W here tonight against Hopkins. How do you feel about the way your season's going and also your team?
Personally, I think my season's going pretty well. I had a pretty good win at the Rumble in the Red tournament a couple weeks ago. That was a big goal of mine. As a team, I think we're looking pretty good. We got, like Bryson said, we have some veterans on the team, but also some young guys developing their skills. So, yeah, overall I think we're making improvements, getting better.
Good shot.
I know you guys got a win last weekend at the Brooklyn Center tournament. Not the toughest competition, but still, is it a little bit of a confidence builder for some of the younger guys too to see some Trojans winning titles?
Yeah, it really is. We go to some pretty tough tournaments to get the best competition we can, but it's good to have a tournament we can win, get the team's confidence up, get a W, get a big trophy to put in the trophy case for the team. Yeah.
I know you're seeing Maple Grove in the week ahead, and like I said, they're kind of a team I think similar in some ways to yours. Is that an important one in terms of seeding for sections, do you feel like?
Oh yeah, a section opponent, always a big deal, always a good matchup. We hope to do our best, hope to get the W over Maple Grove, yeah.
Dan, good luck the rest of the way here. Nice job tonight.
All right, great. Thanks so much.
And Coach Swensen, what's your progress report on the Trojans here in mid-January?
It's been, the boys said it, it's been a good year. We've had some ups and some downs, but I would say that we have some older guys who are doing what they're supposed to do, and we have some younger guys, or maybe they're older age-wise but younger for wrestling, newer to wrestling, and we see improvement weekly on those boys.
Obviously not an easy path to the state tournament when the sections got realigned when you're in with the Knights from St. Michael Albertville, but is that in some ways a good thing to push these guys to know that they have to work hard if they want to get to that level?
Yeah, I think there's some pros and there's some cons to it. We look at the old section that we were in and say, wow, we do pretty well in that section and we may have an opportunity. But when you're in with St. Michael, or if you were in Section 2, where you have Shakopee and Apple Valley and Prior Lake, and you have teams like that, I think I'll steal from football, but it's the iron sharpens iron comment. So I think being with STMA, having to battle with STMA, I think only makes our boys better year after year. When you're wrestling them that year, it may not feel like it, but it does show the boys what you're shooting for, and it puts that picture for them.
Eric, thanks for joining us, and good luck the rest of the season, too.
Thank you.
Coach Swensen from the Wayzata Wrestling program after a win over Hopkins here in Lake Conference Wrestling. And they've got, as we said, a big one coming up as they'll wrestle at Maple Grove and then also at a tournament later in the weekend. We'll be back to wrap up Sports Jam, but first it's a look at our plays of the week.
She'll push it ahead for the Hawks. The Lynch for the basket.
Support Special Olympics by signing up for the Polar Plunge on Saturday, February 4th at Fish Lake Regional Park in Maple Grove. Get more details at ccxmedia.org. Get ready to celebrate winter at the Plymouth Fire and Ice Festival on Saturday, February 4th at Parkers Lake Park. Find out more at ccxmedia.org.
Our game of the week is a Lake Conference gymnastics meet as Hopkins visits Wayzata on the Trojans' new home gym at the high school. You can see the meet live on the web at ccxmedia.org. Catch the replays on our TV channels 12 and 799 Saturday at 10 a.m. And that'll do it for this week's show. We'll be back to our regular schedule next week, starting on Monday with a new Sports Jam.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time here on The Jam.